Hi, hey, it's Patricia Baker, and I'm live on Thursday again. A little bit late today, but I hope that's okay. I think most people catch the replay, but had to take my son to the doctor this afternoon, so a little bit delayed, but I'm sure everybody's good. So I want to talk to you today about some weird stuff that's happened to me, kind of out of sequence, but it has to do with my blog that I wrote on Monday about hoisting your sails and some different things that you can do to make changes happen and to get things moving. So when you live with diabetes, right, or any other chronic condition, there are things you have to do sometimes, and there are goals that you wish that you want to achieve. And so sometimes we have to do some action to get there. So a couple weeks ago, I had that idea about a sail. I had this image of a sailboat and how you have to raise your sail to move, right? The wind, even if the wind's blowing, if your sail is down, you're not going to do anything. And so I had documented that. I grabbed my phone and I wrote some notes about that. I just thought it was an interesting image. And then last week, I'm taking another little coaching class with nurses. It's a nurses coaching thing. And I was coached, and one of my things that I really wanted to work on was my sales strategy, because I don't like sales. I don't really like selling for myself. I love building, I love creating, I love solving, but selling. So as we talked through the coaching process, it really became apparent that I kind of have an aversion to sales because of past experience. And I think that that's one metaphor that kind of translates into diabetes too. If you've had an experience with one doctor, you might kind of think it's going to be the same with another, right? So we bring with us our sum total of every experience we've had, and that's how we tend to look at things in the future. So for me, especially in my nursing career, when we're in the ER and you're in scrubs and you're dealing with chaos and crazy, we would have these drug reps come in, and they're all in pretty suits and high heels and perfect makeup and jewelry, and you're wrestling with some, an overdose or something. And these drug reps, it just used to really bother us because we thought we're doing quote unquote real work, and they're coming in their high heels. So I realized I had a little bit of issue with sales there. And then in my corporate job, I loved the sales guys, but there were some of them that would show up only when they wanted something, and they would try to butter you up. And I think you've all experienced that, where you have somebody who's not being genuine. They really want you to buy their product, and so they're going to try to be nice to you and smooze you and convince you that you should do what they want you to do. And I hate that feeling. Oh my gosh, I hate it. So when it comes to selling my own services and products, and I've got these videos that I'm getting ready to do, it really just was putting the brakes on my productivity. So in my coaching class, it was kind of crazy because that was one of my goals, was to figure out how I could motivate myself. And I decided that I wanted to do a slogan or some little something that had to do with a philosophy of sales. And so it was weird because when I went to sit down and think about sales, S-A-L-E-S, I opened my phone to take down some notes, and there were my notes about sales, S-A-I-L-S, and it was just like this huge aha moment and what it means to me is that I don't have to create the wind. I do have to do work to lift the sails, right? So it could be wonderfully blustery day, and if I'm in a sailboat and I don't put my sail up, I'm not going to have much momentum. So what that means to me metaphorically is that we all have our work to do. So if there's something you want to do, it may seem hard or overwhelming, but there's some work that you need to do. So you may not be able to do all of it. And most of the time I find is God in the universe will start shifting things when you start really being serious and focused about what you want to do. Doors open, you see things differently. And that's certainly things that we look at in coaching. So I think when you're talking about diabetes and lifestyle habits, so hard, it seems impossible to do medicine the rest of your life or change your diet forever. And all these things seem so insurmountable that we tend to resist and push back. But I'm going to challenge you to think about your part. How do you hoist your sail so that you catch whatever breeze or energy or movement is around you? So maybe it's there's an opportunity at work to do something with coworkers. Maybe it's that you create a chart that helps you move forward. There's a lot of different things that you can do to kind of help find some momentum. And the best part is that you don't have to do it all, right? You just get started. So there's some action that you have to do, and you have to let go of something. So that's the other piece. And if you read my blog, I have a lot more detail about it. But if you want to move forward, you have to let go of what the past was. And so what that tends to be, I think for most of us, but obviously with diabetes, is the two words, if only. If only I didn't have diabetes. If only I didn't have to take insulin. You know, if only I was like everybody else. If only, if only, if only. And when you're living in that space, you're living in the past, right? So you're regretting, you're hanging on to something that isn't the way it is. And that's a heavy burden to bear if you're trying to meet new goals or trying to do something different or try to make improvements. So that's probably the strongest thing. In addition to doing some work and hoisting your sail, imagine those if onlys are an anchor, and you got to cut loose of those, right? So wishing things were like they were before doesn't serve any purpose. It just makes you heavy and it weighs you down. So if you can let go of that and appreciate what you have, and so today you might have a good breeze blowing and you just need to raise your sail to help get you forward. You know, your family might be there wanting to support you and you've been resistant because you feel like they're nitpicking or they're being critical. I'll say another little thing on that real quick is people who are critical, especially your family, it's because they care about you and they don't want to see you hurt or suffering. Not only because they don't want to see you suffer, but B, because it's hurtful to them. So imagine if your child was sick, you want them to be better because it makes you feel better too. So what I think a lot of times when our family and friends nag, you know, wanting you to check your blood sugar, wanting to know if you're okay, being concerned about all this stuff, we tend to feel like it's being intrusive and they're being picky because you're doing the best you can. You know, that's one of those things where you could really shift a little bit and think, they're worried about me. That's a different conversation than they're nagging on me because they think I'm failing, right? It's just a little bit of a mind shift. But so I'm going to wrap with this, but I want you to think about hoisting your sail. What is a little thing that you can do? It doesn't have to be big. It could be fun. It could be easy. But something that you can do to move you in the direction of the goals or whatever you want to do. And again, you don't have to have it all figured out. Just head that way. Think about that. Lastly, a self-promotion. I am starting a new online coaching class. It starts May 13th, so a couple more weeks to get signed up. We will meet Monday evenings from 7 to 8:30. So since we have a group session, it's an hour and a half. And it's a really great deal because for several reasons. One, you get to have me as your coach. Funny. Two, that you get to help with a price point. So it will help if finances are an issue, it's a lot more feasible than one-on-one coaching. And three, you get to be with other friends. And I really hadn't been convinced that online could really work. But as I mentioned, I'm taking this online course, and it's amazing to me how much I connect and get from everybody else. Because we're all there, we can see our pictures, we see emotion, you see facial expression, and it's really made me a believer. So I really want to pursue this outside of groups that are local. I want to expand and get people who are, you know, from further away. I'm not worried about what type of diabetes, type 1, type 2. We all, I think, struggle with the same sort of hurdles, different hurdles, but we all have challenges we have to face. So it's a fun opportunity. If you have questions, please feel free to reach out, shoot me an email. My phone number is on the website, my business number. You can call me on that, leave a message, or I'll try to chat with you. But I would love to answer any questions that you have. It ends up being 15 hours of coaching for about half of what it would normally cost. So it's a really good deal. So, and if you're watching and it's not you that has diabetes, but somebody else that wants to hear this message, please share. And then the other one final thing, sorry, I'm thinking of all this stuff. I was on a podcast yesterday and it was a really good overview of my background, my philosophy, what I do, what I believe, what I think the missing pieces are in diabetes care, because I don't think it's about the body and medicine. I think those areas are very well covered. I think it's more about how do you keep your head in the game every day and how do you cope with it? That's the hard part for me. And so that's where I've focused and made great strides. And that's what I want to share with people. So I'm going to be posting links to several different sites and venues where you can get that podcast if you're interested in listening to that. And again, maybe there's somebody that you think should listen or get to know me a little bit better. Okay, that's it. Another wrap. I will see you next Thursday and have a super day. Go out there and be great and hoist your sail. Take care. Bye.